Let me speak this slowly, because this truth is gentle, but it is heavy. People come into our life with love, but they also come with limitations. And the mistake we make is not loving people. The mistake we make is expecting them to be limitless. When we are young, relationships feel permanent. Friends feel inseparable. Family feels unbreakable. We believe that the people who sit with us today will sit with us forever. But life does not work like a photograph. Life works like a journey. And on every journey, some people walk with you for a while, some change paths, and some quietly disappear without a farewell. This does not mean people are selfish. It means people are human. Every person you love is fighting their own battles. They have their own fears, responsibilities, ambitions, and limitations. They wake up every morning carrying their own weight. And yet we expect them to carry ours as well. Slowly, without realizing it, we turn love into pressure. We turn relationships into emotional contracts. I will stay happy only if you stay available. And this is where suffering begins. In old age, this truth becomes very clear. Not because people stop loving you, but because life demands more from them. Children grow up and face their own struggles. Their world becomes faster, louder, and heavier. Friends get busy with health, family, and survival. Even a life partner who loves you deeply cannot always be emotionally present. Sometimes they are tired. Sometimes they are unwell. Sometimes they are simply silent. And suddenly you feel alone. But the loneliness is not caused by their absence. It is caused by our expectation of constant presence. We were never taught this. That love does not mean availability at all times. Love does not mean someone will sit beside you whenever you feel empty. Love means someone wishes you well, even when they cannot show up the way you want them to. Think about this carefully. When you expect people to fill your emotional gaps, you are unknowingly handing them responsibility for your peace. And no human being is strong enough to carry that burden forever. Even the most loving person can break under it. That is why so many relationships feel beautiful in the beginning and heavy later. Not because love reduced, but because expectations increased. In old age, when energy reduces and dependence increases, these expectations become louder. We want people to talk to us, visit us, listen to us, understand us, not once, but repeatedly. And when they don't, we feel ignored, unimportant, even betrayed. But the truth is, they did not change. Our needs changed, and our understanding did not. People have limited time, limited energy, and limited emotional capacity. They cannot pour endlessly without running empty themselves. And when they do get exhausted, we label them as careless, ungrateful, or distant. But let me ask you something important. If someone cannot be there for you all the time, does that mean they don't love you? Or does it simply mean they are human? Understanding this difference can save you years of pain. In old age, peace does not come from demanding more from people. Peace comes from needing less from them. Not emotionally cutting off, but emotionally maturing. Accepting that people will come when they can, stay as long as they can, and leave when life pulls them away. And that is okay. Because when you accept people's limitations, you stop personalizing their absence. You stop asking, why didn't they call me? And start telling yourself, they must be busy living their life. This shift is not bitterness. This shift is wisdom. The strongest people in old age are not those surrounded by crowds. They are those who have made peace with silence. They enjoy company, but they do not depend on it. They receive love with gratitude, not entitlement. And here is the most liberating truth. When you stop expecting people to complete you, relationships actually become lighter and warmer. There is no emotional pressure, no silent complaints, no unspoken disappointment. There is just presence when possible and peace when not. This is why inner strength becomes more important than outer support. Because when people are limited, and they always will be, only your inner stability can hold you. People will walk with you, but they cannot carry you forever. They will care for you, but they cannot cure your emptiness. They will love you, but they cannot become the source of your peace. The moment you understand this, you stop clinging. You stop fearing abandonment. You stop feeling neglected so easily. And in old age, this understanding becomes your greatest protection. Not everyone who steps away is leaving you. Sometimes they are simply living their own life. And when you accept that with grace, you don't lose relationships, you lose suffering. Let me say this with honesty, not to hurt you, but to prepare you. Children grow, but their priorities change. And this change is not betrayal, it is nature. When children are young, their world revolves around you. You are their safety, their guide, their entire universe. They need you for everything: food, comfort, decisions, reassurance. In those years, it feels natural to believe that this closeness will last forever. We silently assume that the love they receive today will return to us in the same form tomorrow. But life does not repeat roles, it replaces them. As children grow, the center of their world shifts. Education, career, responsibilities, relationships, survival, all begin demanding their attention. Their days become fuller, their minds become noisier, and their emotional energy becomes divided. This does not mean they love you less. It means their life has expanded beyond you. The pain begins when parents expect children to remain the same while everything else changes. Many parents in old age feel invisible. They say, "My child doesn't have time for me anymore." And while this feeling is real and deeply human, the interpretation is often incorrect. Lack of time is not lack of love. Silence is not rejection. Distance is not disrespect. It is often exhaustion. Children today live in a world that moves faster than the heart can process. They are constantly proving themselves at work, in relationships, in society. They are fighting pressures that their parents never faced in the same way. And yet, parents expect the same emotional availability they once received when the child had nothing else to do but depend on them. This expectation is innocent, but it is heavy. In old age, parents slowly shift from being needed to being remembered. And this transition hurts because being needed makes us feel alive. But life is not meant to keep us in one role forever. Just as parents once sacrificed sleep, comfort, and dreams for their children, now children are sacrificing in their own way for their families, responsibilities, and future. When parents say, "After everything I did for you," they are speaking from pain, not from wisdom. Love is not a transaction. Parenting was never a contract that guaranteed lifelong emotional return. It was a responsibility chosen freely. And when we turn sacrifice into expectation, love quietly becomes guilt. Children should respect their parents, care for them, and stay connected yes, but expecting them to emotionally center their life around parents in adulthood creates pressure that slowly damages the relationship. Instead of love flowing naturally, it becomes an obligation. An obligation may bring duty, but it kills warmth. In old age, peace comes when parents understand this simple truth: your children are not your emotional support system. They are your blessing, not your anchor. The moment parents stop measuring love by frequency of calls, length of visits, or daily attention, relationships breathe again. A short message becomes meaningful. A brief visit becomes joyful instead of disappointing. Gratitude replaces complaint. There is also another painful truth we avoid talking about. Children may love you deeply, but they may not understand you emotionally. Generational gaps create emotional distance, even when physical distance is small. What feels important to you may feel small to them. What feels urgent to you may feel ordinary to them. And this difference is not arrogance, it is perspective. Expecting children to fill emotional emptiness created by aging, loss of purpose, or loneliness is unfair to them and damaging to you. No one can replace a sense of inner fulfillment, not even your own child. The happiest parents in old age are not those whose children are always around. They are those who have built a life beyond their children, a life with meaning, routine, inner peace, and acceptance. They enjoy their children's presence without demanding it. They give advice only when asked. They offer love without control. And ironically, these are the parents children want to come back to, because nothing pushes children away faster than emotional pressure, and nothing pulls them closer like emotional freedom. Understanding this transforms old age. Instead of waiting by the phone, you begin living your own day. Instead of counting visits, you begin counting blessings. Instead of feeling abandoned, you feel mature. Your children are not leaving you behind. They are moving forward, just as you once did. And if you truly love them, you let them move without guilt. In old age, letting go is not loss, it is wisdom. It is the realization that love does not mean holding tightly. It means trusting the bond, even when hands are not held. When you stop expecting your children to fill your emotional gaps, you discover something surprising. The space inside you becomes lighter, quieter, more peaceful. And in that peace, you realize something beautiful. Your worth was never dependent on how often your children called you. Your life was never meant to shrink just because theirs expanded. Children grow, priorities change, and when you accept this with grace, old age stops feeling lonely and starts feeling free. Let me speak about friendships, because this is one of the most misunderstood pains of old age. Friends fade with time and distance, not because of hatred, not because of conflict, but because life quietly rearranges priorities. When we are young, friendships feel effortless. We meet often, talk endlessly, share dreams, fears, laughter, and silence. We believe these bonds are permanent, unshakable, immune to time. And when someone disappears from our daily life, we feel confused, sometimes hurt, sometimes abandoned. But friendship, like everything human, lives within the limits of circumstance. As years pass, life pulls people in different directions. Careers demand attention, families demand presence, health demands care, responsibilities grow heavier, and energy grows smaller. The time once given freely to friends is now divided into careful portions. Not because friends stopped caring, but because life stopped giving them space. Distance plays its own role. Cities change, countries change, routines change. Physical distance slowly turns into emotional silence. Conversations that once flowed naturally now require planning. Messages become shorter, calls become rare, and one day, without any argument or drama, the friendship becomes a memory. This silent fading hurts more than loud conflict. Because there is no closure, no explanation, no goodbye, just absence. And in old age, this absence feels louder. You start remembering names that once meant everything. You wonder where people went, why no one checks in, why birthdays pass quietly. And slowly, a question forms inside. Was I forgotten? But here is the truth that brings peace. Forgetting is rarely intentional. Most people are not choosing to leave you. They are choosing to survive their own life. Friendship in adulthood is not killed by lack of love. It is weakened by lack of time, energy, and emotional bandwidth. People are tired. They are dealing with their own aging parents, their own children, their own worries. And when survival mode begins, friendship often becomes a luxury, not a priority. This does not mean your bond was fake. It means it belonged to a different season of life. Every relationship has a season. Some are spring, joyful and light. Some are summer, intense and full. Some are autumn, slow and fading. And some quietly end before winter arrives. Expecting friendships to stay the same across all seasons is what creates pain. In old age, many people wait for old friends to return. They sit with memories and expectations, hoping someone will call, visit, or remember. And when it doesn't happen, bitterness grows. They begin saying, people are selfish now, or friendship has no value anymore. But bitterness poisons the one who holds it. Understanding does something else. It softens you. When you accept that friendships are not meant to be permanent in form, only in memory, you stop demanding explanations. You stop measuring loyalty by presence. You start appreciating what was instead of grieving what is not. Friends who fade were not wrong. They were just human. In old age, peace comes when you stop chasing old friendships and start honoring them internally. You stop reopening emotional accounts that life has already closed. You wish people well from a distance without needing them to re-enter your daily life. And there is another truth we rarely admit. Sometimes we change too. Our interests shift. Our tolerance changes. Our conversations slow down. The things that once excited us no longer matter. And suddenly, even when friends are around, we don't feel connected the same way. The silence becomes awkward. The laughter feels forced. And yet we blame distance instead of difference. Friendship cannot survive without shared rhythm, and rhythm changes with time. This is why old age demands a different understanding of companionship. It is no longer about quantity of friends, but quality of peace. One honest conversation is enough. One gentle connection is enough. Sometimes, even solitude is enough. The mistake many people make is trying to relive old friendships instead of accepting present reality. They expect old friends to play old roles, forgetting that life has rewritten everyone's script. And when expectations are not met, disappointment follows. But imagine the freedom of saying this to yourself. People were part of my journey, not my destination. When you understand this, friendships stop feeling like losses and start feeling like chapters. You don't curse chapters for ending. You learn from them. You smile at them. You carry them quietly inside you. In old age, you don't need many friends. You need clarity. You need acceptance. You need the ability to sit with yourself without feeling empty. Friends fading is not a sign that you are unlovable. It is a sign that life has moved forward. And life moving forward is not cruel. It is natural. When you stop expecting friends to stay forever, you stop fearing being forgotten. You realize something deeply comforting. The value of a friendship is not measured by how long it lasts, but by how honestly it existed. Some people walk with you for decades. Some walk with you for a season. And both are complete in their own way. Old age becomes peaceful when you stop asking, "Where did everyone go?" and start saying, "I'm grateful for everyone who once walked with me." In that gratitude, loneliness dissolves, and in that acceptance, peace quietly settles in. Let me speak about the deepest attachment of all, because this one touches the heart more than any other. A life partner is the closest companion we choose. We share years, routines, secrets, struggles, and silence with them. We grow old together, believing that this bond will protect us from loneliness forever. And in many ways it does. But there is a truth we rarely face. A partner may leave before you, or you may leave before them. And no amount of love can change that reality. This is not a negative thought. This is life's most honest reminder. When we build our entire emotional world around one person, we unknowingly place a fragile foundation under our peace. Because even the strongest relationships are subject to time, health, and destiny. One illness, one accident, one silent departure can change everything. And suddenly, the person you leaned on for decades is no longer there. Physically, emotionally, or mentally. In old age, this fear becomes real, not imagined, real. Sometimes the partner passes away. Sometimes they fall ill and are no longer emotionally present. Sometimes the relationship itself changes due to misunderstandings, fatigue, or unhealed wounds. And sometimes two people stay together physically but grow emotionally distant. Loneliness does not always require absence. It can exist even when someone is sitting beside you. Many people say, "As long as I have my partner, I will be fine." This belief feels comforting, but it is also dangerous because it hands over responsibility for your happiness to another human being. And no human being, no matter how loving, can guarantee emotional security forever. In old age, depending fully on a partner creates silent fear. Fear of loss, fear of abandonment, fear of being unable to survive alone. And fear slowly eats peace. A healthy relationship is built on companionship, not dependency. Two complete individuals walking together, not two incomplete people leaning on each other to stand. When dependency replaces companionship, love turns into anxiety. You start needing constant reassurance. You fear silence. You fear change. You fear the future. And old age already brings enough uncertainty. There is also another truth that is difficult to accept. Your partner is aging too. They are tired too. They have their own physical pain, emotional struggles, and unspoken fears. Expecting them to always be strong for you, available for you, understanding of you, is unfair. Love does not remove human limitation, it only softens it. In many long marriages, emotional exhaustion quietly appears. Conversations repeat, silence increases, care remains, but excitement fades. This does not mean love is gone. It means the relationship has entered a quieter phase. And if we are not prepared for this phase, we mistake calm for emptiness. In old age, some people start demanding more from their partner, more attention, more conversation, more emotional support. Not because the partner changed, but because inner emptiness grew. And this pressure slowly suffocates love. The most peaceful couples in old age are not those who depend on each other for happiness. They are those who stand independently, choosing each other freely every day. They have their own inner world, their own routines, their own peace. Togetherness becomes joy, not survival. And if loss does come, as it eventually will for one of you, inner strength becomes your only support. Those who have built their identity only as someone's partner struggle deeply. Those who have cultivated inner stability grieve, but they do not collapse. Grief is natural, dependence makes it unbearable. Understanding this truth early does not reduce love, it deepens it. When you know that nothing is permanent, you cherish more without clinging. You love without fear. You appreciate without possession. In old age, the partner beside you is a blessing, not a guarantee. A companion, not a crutch. When you stop expecting your partner to complete you, something beautiful happens. You stop arguing over small things. You stop demanding emotional perfection. You become gentler, more forgiving, more present. You also stop fearing the future. Because you know that even if one day you must walk alone, you will not be lost. Your peace will not collapse with someone's absence. Your life will not lose meaning because someone is gone. This understanding is not cold. It is compassionate. It allows love to be light instead of heavy. It allows companionship to be warm instead of fearful. It allows old age to be lived with dignity instead of anxiety. A partner can walk beside you. They can support you. They can love you deeply. But they cannot be your only source of strength. In old age, peace comes when love is shared, not depended upon. When companionship is enjoyed, not feared to lose. Because the greatest gift you can give your partner and yourself is the ability to stand steady, even when one day you must stand alone. Let me talk about the one companion that never abandons you, never grows tired of you, and never asks you to prove your worth: inner peace. In old age, when noise reduces and life slows down, whatever lives inside you becomes louder. If your mind is restless, silence feels unbearable. If your heart is unsettled, even comfort feels empty. This is why inner peace is not a luxury for later years. It is a necessity, and those who cultivate it early carry a quiet strength that no situation can shake. Most people search for peace outside. They look for it in people, in routine, in approval, in control. But external peace is always temporary. It depends on conditions remaining perfect, and life rarely cooperates. One phone call can disturb it. One argument can steal it. One loss can shatter it. Inner peace, on the other hand, does not require life to behave in a certain way. It comes from acceptance, not arrangement. In old age, circumstances become unpredictable. Health fluctuates, energy decreases, roles disappear. You are no longer needed the way you once were. And if your peace depends on being needed, appreciated, or validated, suffering becomes constant. But if your peace comes from within, changes become manageable. Pain may visit, but it does not stay forever. Inner peace is the ability to sit with yourself without running away, It is being comfortable with your own thoughts, your own memories, your own silence. Many people fear this silence because it exposes unresolved emotions, regret, guilt, anger, longing. That is why they keep themselves busy, distracted, surrounded. But old age removes distractions. And whatever was postponed emotionally comes back demanding attention. Those who have practiced inner peace do not panic when this happens. They have already made peace with their past. They have forgiven themselves. They have accepted what cannot be changed. And because of this, their mind does not fight reality anymore. Peace is not the absence of problems. Peace is the absence of resistance. In old age, resistance creates suffering. Resisting aging, resisting change, resisting dependence, resisting loneliness, all of it drains energy. Inner peace teaches you to cooperate with life instead of fighting it. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start saying, "This is happening, and I will meet it calmly." This calmness is not weakness, it is deep strength. When inner peace is strong, you don't feel the need to constantly talk, complain, or explain yourself. You don't feel hurt by every delay or silence. You don't feel threatened by being alone. You begin to enjoy simple things. A quiet morning, a slow walk, a familiar prayer, a gentle memory. Life stops being dramatic and starts being meaningful. People often misunderstand inner peace as detachment from life. In reality, it is deeper engagement with life, without emotional turbulence. You still feel love, joy, sadness, and loss. But these emotions pass through you instead of settling inside you permanently. In old age, this makes all the difference. Those without inner peace feel abandoned even when surrounded. Those with inner peace feel complete even when alone. Because peace fills the space that people cannot. Inner peace also protects dignity. When you are peaceful inside, you don't beg for attention. You don't demand presence. You don't emotionally cling. You allow people to come and go without measuring your worth by their behavior. This dignity creates respect, both from others and from yourself. And this peace does not come overnight. It is built slowly, through self-awareness, through reflection, through acceptance, through spiritual grounding, through letting go of unnecessary expectations. It grows when you stop trying to control everything and start trusting life a little more. In old age, trust becomes medicine. You trust that what you did with sincerity. You trust that mistakes were part of learning. You trust that life gave you what you needed, not always what you wanted. And this trust quiets the mind. Inner peace also changes how you face the idea of mortality. Those without peace fear it deeply. Those with peace accept it gently, not because they want life to end, but because they understand that life is complete when lived consciously. Fear reduces when acceptance increases. And perhaps the most beautiful thing about inner peace is this: it makes you a comforting presence for others, not because you talk a lot, but because your calmness feels safe. People sit near you and feel lighter. Not many words are needed. Your presence itself becomes healing. In old age, when words reduce and energy fades, this silent presence becomes your greatest gift. Inner peace stays when people leave. It stays when strength reduces. It stays when roles disappear. It does not depend on age, body, or circumstances. And when everything else slowly slips away, inner peace remains, quietly reminding you that you are still whole, still enough, still at home within yourself.